I'm Alicia Karopka, and this is SEO in 2023. Hi.
Hi, Alicia. What's your number one SEO tip for 2023?
I have a tip which might be seemingly basic. However, I think that if you get to utilize it, you will appreciate it later. And I do really hope, before I was asked to prepare the tip, there was a question, how do you measure if it's successful or not? I do hope you won't be able to measure if it was successful or not. However, it will make you prepared. So my tip is to prepare for the worst, but hope for the better. And to do that properly, you'll need to make a backup, to write a workflow, and to prepare reporting so that you can do that under any circumstances that may come.
So, prepare for the worst. From an SEO perspective, what might be the worst?
Lately, for example, we've seen lots of things happening, pandemics, we've seen natural disasters, some SEOs had their personal circumstances, we had lots of things happening. Now we are swift forward into recession, and we might expect that the next year might be very bad for businesses in many terms, and for some SEOs as well. We see people getting laid off. Lots of them, and that may continue and the trend may become even worse. So some people under these circumstances, you always think that, at least I have my own brain and I can do what I know. But we've seen from the past that you might get choked with food, or you can bite your tongue, and your lifelong experience in chewing and taking food didn't protect you from this failure anyways. So the best way to get prepared for anything that might happen to you, preferably not, of course, but is to make a backup, and that is physical backup and possibly cloud storage. And don't keep that backup with your natural files, which you are working each day with. The next one in this, all that, is the written workflow of your typical tasks.
Can I just dive into backups just for a quick second, just before we get back into workflow?
Yeah.
So what specifically should you back up, and why do you recommend taking a physical backup as well as cloud backup?
Because what I've experienced myself this year is that cloud backups, some companies may stop working with you, some companies may get burned, their servers may get burned and you don't have any access to that, or the servers might be in the country which experiences some difficulties, no matter what kind of difficulties. So, and you just lose access to them. What I've also found out that people are storing their backups along with their files on the same server. So whatever happens to their files happens to their backup, and they cannot use it. That is another thing that you should not do. Physical backup, you just when anything happens to you, you just grab the disk or whatever it is, and you just go with that.
And just to clarify, what do you mean by backup? I mean, what data specifically should you include in the backup?
Those are all your documents, absolutely, each one of them.
So the website, are you talking about? Are you talking about your visit data?
I'm talking about websites. I'm talking about those SQL tables. I'm talking about all your documents, passwords, and all the data entries, because most of us, they have lots of accounts out there, which they do remember. They are somewhere in their Chrome tab where they paste in the password, and they don't even sometimes remember the names of the tools they are using because they are all programmed into their Chrome or elsewhere. So you should have these stored exactly independently, because you will forget about them, I may assure you. You also should have this backup data about all of your domains, all about your links, which you need to, after some times you will need to pay for them. And sometimes you don't get these notifications that it's going to expire or something like that, and you just lose access to your website. You lose domains, you lose backlinks, you lose lots of data. So that should be also the part of your backup. And
is it an SEO's responsibility to think about all this as well, do you think?
I think so, because you are like someone who drives traffic, and you are someone who drives money to businesses. Like at the end of the day, it's all about money you can provide to the businesses for them to grow and to maintain themselves.
Yeah, I mean, at least be asking the questions, because obviously the website's success, whether the website's there or not, whether the domain's working or not, obviously will radically impact whether or not the SEO has been successful as well. So it makes complete sense. And I also rudely interrupted you talking about documented workflow. So what were you going to share about that?
So some people think that they are good to go only with the backups of their documents and their websites, and that's it, because they can use their brain, and they have this successful experience of bringing websites up, and they think they do remember everything. However, when anything bad happens to you or anything unforeseen, what no one talks about, but what happens to most people is that their brain is so concentrated on survival that no matter what you do, your cognitive functions, they suffer most of the times, more with women than with men, but both parties can sometimes suffer from that. And you thought that you've always known how to do this routine task and that you are very successful with that. However, when the harder times come and you are under stress, you just cannot operate properly. So you should also have these workflows written down for you. I know that it may sound very basic. You think, I'm doing that each day. I know everything. I may bring my websites up at any time. No, you forget everything and you just cannot concentrate on that. So when you have this workflow written down, list by list, properly, you just open it in your backup and you just follow it. And you don't.
And it's a great practice for outsourcing as well. So if your business is growing, if the amount of activities that you have to do as an SEO is growing, then obviously you're going to build a team. And then if you have those documented workflows already, then it's going to be much easier to actually get people working from you and replicate what you're doing.
Yeah, SOPs, they help as well, but sometimes just something very ordinary task which you do daily, they will help you, because you just forget how to do them under some circumstances. I know that may sound primitive or basic, but that's like the reality, what happens, what many people like find out in the wrong way. So if you have that written down and you just open it from your backup, you are able to proceed with your work, whatever happens. So there may be hurricane around you, you have your tasks written down and you just one by one you do them. No matter. And also I do suggest, because when something not very good happens, we are under recession, we are under, I don't know, some attack, or like you need to hide somewhere or whatever, pick some one thing which you are especially very good at. So something you are doing perfect, much better than others, and that you can do anytime, and write it down and make it your like something distinctive about you, something that you can offer to other people in circumstances when you lose everything and you need something fast to work on with, something very fast. So either that
good points. Know what your USP is. Are you saying don't just say you're an SEO, say that you specialise in a very particular area?
Get your copy of SEO in 2023, the book, over at SEOin2023.com.